Right, hello everyone. We are back for another tournament here, Tropic Kings. I'm wanted to just show you that this is exactly where I left off from Tour 6 the other day. So you can see with where this account is, I am getting set up for hole number 1. I'm thinking I'm going to use a quarterback Viper combination. And that's what I recommend for this. I do kind of recommend a Titan ball here, as it'll make it a little bit more holeable. What I'm going to do today is just a Quasar. It will make it a little bit tougher to make this shot, but I don't expect it to be too makeable either way. So let's jump in here, just see what we're given. This hole can be quite challenging, and that's one of the main reasons that you're actually going to see me use a quarterback here. I like being very safe with this shot, so you'll see that I'll usually aim at the middle of this fairway or the left-hand side. So that is where I'm going to aim. I'm going to aim over here. Very small ring adjustment with some curl. As you can see, it just kind of gently rolls over into the fairway over here. And it's just a little bit tougher to do with extra mile. So let me take a look here, see if I can get this grid on just to help in terms of alignment here. Anything else can be a little bit more risky. You can go off this fairway, very challenging thing to do here. Ooh, especially with that good ball. So puts it in the water. And here, as you can see, this range issue, that's one of the primary reasons that I go at this with a... So instead of playing the rings here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try to let this naturally hop over the bunker. It'll be a lot tougher to play this shot, as you'll see that, it's just tough to get the alignment down. But as you can see, we can still give it a reasonable chance there. And, I assumed that was going to fly at least 2.5 rings down, at least 2.5, maybe 3. So I was kind of pulling the target up to 3 rings there for that 4.5 wind. So all I was doing is kind of testing the land zone to see how it was going to bounce. And as you can see, I'm able to get a reasonable attempt, but if I had a Titan on, for example, those 3 rings would have been covered and I would have been able to set up and go for more precision. That's one of the main reasons that I do like to go for the backspin shot there with the Titan, especially if you have a sniper. So for example, if your sniper has a 170 or 169 distance, that would be a sniper 9, sniper 10. It's very unlikely that you'd have something like that. But even at 166, it would technically maybe be at long enough range for a Titan. Be very close. But that's ideal for what to have for that hole. As you can see, it's a little complicated to get through that hole with having to go a little bit into power. So, do be careful there. Make sure that you do hit the fairway. Good luck with that hole, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, hello everyone. Here we are setting up for hole number 2. So you can see I'm going to go with the Guardian. A little bit easier to play this hole with backspin. So that's what I'm going to do. Shouldn't need much range at all. The backspin should be the important attribute here. What I typically try to do is land right on this fairway with some side spin. There's the Guardian. This is exactly what I try to do. Much better than Big Dog, that's for sure. So we should be okay. Of course, it's wind specific that makes this okay. Rather have it like this. So we are going to switch the balls. I'd rather be up here. And what I typically do is try to experiment with the spin. Should be about 50 accuracy or so. And you can see with where I'm landing here. Gonna just try to go 3.5 here. And if you execute this perfectly, it is going to be makeable. As you can see, I got it up just past the hole with good speed. And you can see that that's right around the right amount of backspin. It's one of the big reasons that Guardian's so good as an early club. And one of the main reasons that I use it. Because it just gives you that flexibility. Early in the game, you don't have that much backspin. So you can see that you can use its lack of ball guide to your advantage and basically just estimate where it's going to roll out by controlling your backspin. So for instance, after the third bounce happens and you have about 5 bars, you know that it's going to only roll forward a couple more yards. So 5 backspin seems to be the sweet spot. Then we get to holes like this where I can just use full. So that's the key for this hole. When we get to tour 7, for instance, here you'll see we're going to be using it with a backbone here. So what I typically do with this one with an iron is going to be very little spin. I'll typically play the fairway, as opposed to thinking something like this. Five rings. Get somewhere around 3-ish rings here. And the speed just didn't have the right curl on it. It does have a side slope there. You know, I saw what I needed to do and just kind of made sure that I was inside, made sure that I got it up that hill. But you could see that the alignment was just a little bit off. It's because I really couldn't see the ball guide, and there is a side slope, so everything does feed to the right. Typically, I'd be a little bit more careful and probably play the slope a little bit more on the left. Try to kind of point it left intentionally. But with my opponent so far, you know, I knew I had some error on the right, so I wanted to more go for it. Go for more of an alignment that would at least, you know, make sure that it goes all the way down the hill for a possible hole-in-one. But as you can see, just a little bit off with that alignment. No big deal. Good luck with that hole there, guys, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, here we are. Hole number 3 here that we're setting up for. You can see the bag that we're going to use. Still haven't even had to touch extra mile yet, which is kind of favorable. Also nice to note here that I shouldn't need a power ball. Shouldn't and won't, though, are two different things. So let's just take a look, see what we got. So with the wind, you know, I do expect it to kind of roll up here a little bit farther. So I am happy to see that it is going to be a tailwind. That kind of solidifies my decision. I should be able to get away without a Titan ball. Typically what I might do, though, is use a Titan for the extra range. Well, in the second shot, more so than the first. First shot's kind of irrelevant. With that great ball, that might push my opponent into the sand. So let's see how this plays out. Wow, are you kidding me? What a lucky guy. Got it to stop just 1 inch short of the sand. Typically what I'll do is I'll put a lot of curl on this. That actually creates extra momentum and gets it well around no chance at the bunker. So you'll see with all this extra swing that it gets well over to the right. And with the extra curl, never has a chance to go into the sand. So we actually outdrove extra mile there. As you can see, all that extra curl made that possible. So let's see what we can get. It is a good opportunity with another straight wind. So good chance that I could potentially make this. As you can see, we are in range. It's hard without seeing the side spin exactly how this is going to roll out. You can see with how I'm playing it, around 3 and 3 or so. And just missing the hole. So you can see a good opportunity. Be nice to be able to take advantage of that. Another thing that I can do is I can bring my sniper in. It'll have just a little bit more extended ball guide. And as you can see, this is a good opportunity where you don't need a lot of backspin. So good opportunity here to bring sniper in and give myself just a little bit extra of a chance. And that's probably something that I'll do in the later rounds. I think I have a sniper 3 or 4 that I upgraded it to. That was all from the coins that I made the other day in the Tour 6 stream that I used. Here you can see we get, oh, I thought I had Guardian. So this is definitely a hole that the Guardian is a little bit more favorable to bring. The way that we're going to have to play this with Viper is much more challenging. As you can see, I'm not able to stop it. Very, very challenging shot. It has to land perfect on that rough to be able to do that bump. Much better to bring a guardian for shootout purposes. As you can see, there's no way we can stop this ball. So you can see with what my opponent's doing, there's no real ability to be able to stop this on there and have this be by the hole. So did get a little bit fortunate there. The only way that we're able to win there is to get that one to just kind of get closer to my opponent. You can pull off that rough bump, but as you could see, it also hit. You got to be very careful because the first 2 hops are critical. And as you could see, my second hop missed that little hill and kind of landed on the flat and roll out. Similarly, that can happen with a driver as well, but it is very possible that you can pull that shot off as well. And what par 3 is this? This is the one that we just played, I believe. So we'll probably go with an iron and just try to go with a backbone on the next one. So, but anyway, good luck with that 3rd hole, guys. I'll see you guys on 4 coming up. All right, here we are, hole 4. Now, just in case that hole comes up again, I am going to equip myself with the Guardian. Definitely a good opportunity for a Guardian on hole 7. Similarly, here you'll see, we're going to go backbone, just a little bit of top spin, somewhere right around here. Make sure that it gets to the hole. As you can see, we're going to play the slope over here. Kind of aim like this. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of just over 3 rings here. So here you can see it comes in off the slope, just a little bit alignment issue. So one of the things you'll want to do is use the ball guide. Pay attention to what it looks like on the green squares on the green. Because what we'll do next time is we'll just make a minor tweak to the way we start our setup. So wherever that 3rd hop looks like it's bouncing, we'll just position it just, half a grid over, for instance, or 3/4 of a grid to the right. And then do our alignment using very similar, I was using somewhere around 1.5 per ring for my adjustment. And that's what we'll do for consistency. It'll be much easier to bring this than a Goliath because of the accuracy. If I grade ball a backbone, it's always better off. So let's take a look at what hole we get. Still haven't seen one of these par 3s. But here you can see this harder one. It's going to be easier to beat Sniper. Sniper is not the best shot for this. As you can see, the rollout is very challenging to get down. So let's see what my opponent is capable of here. It's going to require kind of perfect execution. Very challenging shot here. So no real control there. 10 yards, and that's one of the beauties of the Guardian. Even if we have to go into overpower, which we will, much easier to control this. So right around, as I was mentioning last time, right around the 7 or 5 backspin is going to be kind of my sweet spot. I'm going to play just a little bit for the win there. Maybe a ring and a half. Other than that, go into a little bit of power, go into some curl. That's all there is to the Guardian, to this hole. Very controlled. In fact, it looks like I almost made it. So very good opportunity there. As you can see, just a little bit tough to get the, precision down, because you have to go a little overpower, a little bit of curl. However, you can see very consistent results when you have that club for that hole. So good luck with that one, guys, and I will see you. All right, here we are, hole 5, very challenging hole. You're going to want to be very cautious when playing it. So having that length component is going to be important. So, kind of probably the shortest club I'm thinking about going is this one, but you can see not a lot of topspin on it, which can be a contributor here. So, you may want to even think about putting on big dog. I probably will go with quarterback off the tee, though. We'll just have to see. Another thing that you can do, there's kind of 2 ways to play this drive. You can play a backspin extra mile shot, or you can play a hop shot with a quarterback. Pretty much they both have their own advantage, disadvantage. May just go with this bag. Let me, just in case, put this on. It's kind of a secondary option once I go in there. Take a look at things. So making some switches, because I only have 3 bags. So we are going to go with the big dog. It's just a little bit more careful. I don't want to take myself out of this hole by not being able to get the tee shot where I want it. As I mentioned, about 2 different ways that I play it. I don't play this with a extra mile hop. I would prefer to do it with a QB hop because of the accuracy. So the only way that I'll do the shot that I'm going for here is if I pull it off. Now you can see my opponent with the basic ball. It's going to make things very challenging. Tough to get to the green in 2. Very tough hole for my opponent. You can see one of the things that we're capable of is getting it up here. Just kind of full curling it, which isn't very much. Perfect ball. But we'll be aligned for the second shot, and we'll have a little bit more range than our opponent does as well. An extra 15 yards or so with this club than what my opponent has. But you can see that I try to stay off of the power, try to keep it back, because I don't want to put myself outside that field of view. It looks like he brought horizon. That was probably the smartest decision of his life. So if you do have to go with balls like this, you will want to make sure that you have a top spin club. As you can see, my opponent has to use horizon here, but it is going to be the saving grace. Not necessarily going to ensure an eagle. It looks like he just rolled it onto the green. That's actually going to kind of hurt. I don't think he's going to be able to get to the hole there. So kind of 2 things you'll want to do. You'll want to overpower that some and get it well down that slope, or similarly, you can leave it on that fairway if you would also like, and it kind of will have a possibility to do it that way as well. Now, what I'm going to try to do is bend this around this tree a little bit. And you can see with where my second hop is, and I'm using about 2 top spin as well. Similarly, I'm going to go almost 2 rings here, maybe just a touch of curl. I'm not sure I had the alignment properly. But you can see more or less my goal here. And as long as that second hop bounces right around that fringe at about the 2 top spin mark, you can see that it comes very close. And we gave it a good run to potentially be able to get that albatross. Almost didn't need the curl, but it was tough to tell. But you could see with what I was doing with my alignment, with about 2 top spin. And, you know, that's just something that I might not be able to do with the Viper. Here you can see what happens to my opponent. Can't get it to the hole, no matter how much power he uses. So something you'll want to be very cautious of. Now you can see we roll it in. Keep ourselves out of trouble there. And this is the first Titan that we had to use. So there we have it. Oh, interesting hole that one will be. So good luck with that 5th hole, guys. We're going to get prepared for this 6th coming up. And catch you guys on that one. Here we are. Just keep in mind, no matter what route I go here, I'm going to try to prepare myself for the shootout. So you can see I'm going to bring the Quasar here. Extra mile Guardian. So the Guardian will help me on that 1 hole if need be. If we get unlucky, we have to hit a Guardian for our So 2 ways to play this. You can go up to the right and have a very straight downwind pitch, which would pretty much come down to kind of perfect ball. Good chance that you can hold it from the right over there. Similarly, we can go off this island hop. It's a little bit tougher to do in the early stages. The hardest thing about this this island hop shot is getting enough curl. It pretty much is going to kind of come down to perfect ball. It's going to be very challenging to pull this shot off. So one of the things that we would just want to make note of, is you can see how I need to land very aggressively on this right, which means that I may need perfect ball. You can also see the way that the fairway hops are. So I'm thinking somewhere around 2 rings plus power plus all my full curl. May even want to, you know, if I was doing this in the later rounds, I would probably use a katana, for instance. But since it's only a qualifier, I don't mind forfeiting this stroke today. So I'm going to take it just a little bit more risky. And you can see, not quite good enough. But as I mentioned, you know, I don't mind taking the risk on a qualifier. I don't necessarily need to get this shot today. And as I mentioned, with this view, you can see that the wind is very straight. With a perfect ball, you could pretty much almost ensure yourself that you're going to make it. Other thing that you can do is you could go for the dunk over here. You could bring navigators and you know, try to dunk it at min club. That's also something that I may try to do in the later rounds. So do be tuned for that, because I probably will, at least in my opener, do that one time, because I find it to be just a little bit more reliable than playing this way. Especially with early clubs. But all I'll need here is perfect ball. With a perfect ball, I should be able to pretty much ensure that I make this. And there you can see I get my perfect, so it should roll down, funnel right into the cup here. So it looks like it didn't cost me a stroke. Able to pick up the eagle there. Similarly, as I mentioned, you know, I would probably use katana kingmaker ball towards the weekend round, because I'd want to ensure that I get enough right spin on that. So good luck with that hole, guys, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, hello everyone. Here we are, hole 6. And not sure what I want to do here. Set up Marlin here. A very challenging hole. I'm going to try to use a bump shot, I feel. right around 5 to 5.5 bars of backspin seems to be ideal. I'd like to at least take a look and see what we get here for the wind. You can see we should be okay. Around 6 on the backspin, why not? Similarly, you can see that we're going to use the slope here. And Guardian 2, thinking somewhere around just a little bit more than 2 rings here. In this case. And just trying to gently roll it down this hill. So you can see, gives it a good possibility for the hole out. And it should be relatively controlled. It's not going to be an easy make by any stretch, but it is going to be makeable that way. So do kind of recommend that approach. Alternatively, we're going to need to, if you don't have 6 bars of backspin, you'll have to do some kind of curl shot over on this part of the fairway, which is typically what I see big dog players do. Very challenging shot though. The only thing that you have to be careful here is that you do actually hit the rough. So with my opponent, it's very close. I can't tell. I'm not sure if they played enough wind here. Looks like they did not. So it's going to shoot over back into the rough. Similarly, you need 6 bars of backspin. So without having 6 bars of backspin, don't even attempt that shot. So Viper's no good. Big Dog's no good. Horizon's no good. And again, that's another shootout that if you want to prepare yourself for, in the event that you get this hole, you can always do that bump shot, and it's going to be very consistent with a Guardian approach. So it looks like we're able to pick up the win here. Don't have to go to the shootout. Good luck with that hole, guys, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, here we are, guys. We are going to set up for a long iron shot here. So I'm either going to go with a Marlin or a Navigator, one of these Quasar, one of these 3 options. What I'll typically do is a hop shot from the first fairway, try to get myself positioned into the fairway to give myself a long iron bump. So that's what I'm going to try to do here with the range. It would be a little bit easier with this range issue. Just go with the Quasar. So that's what I'm going to do. Aside from that, I try to land very close to maybe here. So I'm going to go over a couple rings. Just curl it back. So with all this curl, it usually gets me over around these trees. Hopefully, we'll see if I curled it enough. I did get a great ball. So what I typically want to do is be able to go for this bump without having to worry about these trees. So you got to typically get it just a little bit more left here. So we'll see how it plays out. See if those limbs come into place. But that's typically what I'll try to do is, next time just get a perfect ball. It'll be over to the left a little bit more, and we'll have an easy bump shot towards the green. All you got to do is get it just outside of those trees. You can actually keep it just a little bit shorter as well. Sometimes you can get over them. Sometimes you can get close enough that you can get under them as well. I can't really tell where I fall. It looks like I actually put myself in a little bit of a tough position. But what I try to do is I try to put that curl on to give it a nice angle, so I could actually hopefully get around the trees. Looks like you can see that the trees are actually kind of perfectly in my view, the way that it falls now. So I'll probably do maybe just a little bit of a curl shot around them. So what I'm thinking of is landing somewhere around here, but we're going to need to do it with some sort of curl to make sure that we can avoid the trees. So you can see with what the idea is, it's usually right around one on the top spin, give or take. And if I can get that just a little bit more left next time, you can see that I'll be able to bend it around the trees. Another, you can see it looks like my opponent can actually maybe get under them. Nope, not quite. So if you drive it far enough, you can get under them. It's very close. You can see with where my opponent is. Doesn't have the top spin though, which makes this actually really tough. It might not climb the hill. You'd have to land it right on the very tip top of that, kind of like that. And this is also a risky thing to do, because what if you hit the fairway? So it's very close. It looks like he actually did clip the fairway. So now my opponent put himself in quite a little bit tougher of a shot. As I mentioned, one top spin is the sweet spot there. So you'll want a club with good ball guide and one top spin. You'll use your best option that has those two attributes. Looks like opponent's able to roll in the birdie. So we will be going to shoot out here. So once again, you're going to see that I'm going to use pretty much the same shot that you saw me do last time. Just going to roll this down the hill gently with the Guardian. Just a little bit out of control there. Should have just cranked up the backspin just a touch more, or just landed it just a little bit shorter. As you can see, it comes in just a wee bit too hot. Very tough to do this with a sniper though. It would require kind of a perfect bounce down that. If you don't have enough backspin, it's very tough to stop this. Another thing you can do is you can end up leaving it up there as well. So it looks like opponent is able to actually sneak this one out because of my lack of control. So it's not something I should have lost. I should have definitely beat my opponent there. A little bit of bad luck, but you take some, you take your bad breaks and just move on, go to the next one. So good luck there, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, here we are, very challenging hole here. We're going to put a Titan ball on, mostly for the range for the second shot. This is definitely, probably the hardest hole in this entire set. So this is the one that you'll want to avoid the mistake. Definitely don't want to make a mistake here. But this is the easiest hole to make a mistake on. So you want to be very careful. Not very many people are going to get this eagle in rookie, especially true rookies. So people who are true rookies are even more So what I'll try to do is land right around here and with some curl. You can see I'm going to use, use my full spin here. Also going to just bend it around the tree. That's going to provide that angle, and something that Extra Mile just isn't capable of doing. So Extra Mile won't be able to bend it that much. So it's a little, you got to kind of change the way that you play it. It's much better to play this with quarterback, as any quarterback will be able to get the ball up to the top of that fairway there. Opponent clips the tree. Now it's going to be, much farther behind. It's almost, it's smarter not to play around those trees. Better to, bend it as opposed to go and play it like that. So what I'll typically do here is a little bit of backspin. So you can see with how I'm trying to aim. Just a little bit of curl as well. So pretty much I just kind of aim away from the hole. All I'm trying to do is get this over here, make sure that it's into the green or into the fringe on the right of the cup. I'll never go at the pin. What this allows me to do is if I catch a great ball to the left, hopefully it'll go more at the hole and hopefully stay out of this bunker. So that's what playing intentionally to the right allows you to do. Now my opponent's shot here is going to require some luck, some skill and some luck. Because anytime you have to land that far back on the fairway, it's a much tougher hole. So again, just to reiterate here, much better to play this one safe, not do anything too risky. Just kind of play it over into the right half of this fairway. And that should allow, hopefully, for great balls to kind of still keep you on the fringe or up on this fairway, as opposed to, if you try to play it aggressive here, that means that a great ball goes in this sand. There's almost no time that I've ever seen somebody great ball left and not be in this bunker if they shoot at the hole. But when you shoot out to the right here, what it typically allows you to do is it almost takes it more in line with the hole, and you may be able to salvage it. Similarly, with a great ball off to the right, it'll just kind of roll down this fairway a lot of times. So there you have it, and there's our qualifier. You can see we get the 13 under qualifier well in position with quite a few chances. As you could see, we were very close on quite a few shots. So something that, we'll try to hone in on. I do, professionally speaking, I'm looking at 26, possibly 27. If you get to that 27 number, I feel really confident that it's going to produce a win. So, especially in a rookie division. So if you are a true rookie account, never up into the pro, kind of like me, you're going to be in, brackets with guys with you know, similar clubs. And, you know, I do expect 26, 27 to, you know, especially if you have the tiebreaker. So if I get a 13, a 26, and a 26, I feel pretty good that at the very least, you know, maybe somebody has a really exceptional round. They beat you on the weekend by a stroke. But if you can get to that 27, you know, I feel really confident that, you know, 27 will definitely be a winning score for a rookie. That's not to say, you know, if for whatever reason you've ever been to expert or pro and you want to attempt rookie, don't ask me why you would ever want to do that. It doesn't make any sense. The prizes just aren't worth it. You know, we barely get any balls, and in terms of the clubs, we can't get anything usable. So when we're talking about the clubs here, the only thing that we can get is the top clubs for every section. So Big Topper's the best club that I can get. Big Dog's the best club that I can get. Goliath is the best club that I can get here, and so forth. There's nothing on the bottom that I can ever win in rookie. That's one of the biggest reasons to move on, and something that I'm working on. You can see that I'm in rookie 3, and I'm going to try to make sure that I promote into pro. So next tournament that comes around, we can start playing for the better rewards and hopefully take our game to the next level. So good luck out there, guys, and I will see you guys next time.